I just love that when Bert was out there in the audience and was trying to lead them along, and some of them, the audiences, I think, really enjoyed being an active participant in this show. But as I say, if these contestants had appeared on American Idol, somebody might have said, well, that's a little pitchy there. They struggled with that somewhat. But this was a fun show. It didn't have much of a chance in daytime because it was on directly opposite Concentration, one of the most popular shows on the air on NBC at the same hour. So it had a real struggle being able to compete with that strong of a program. But then it had a nighttime version that ran for 26 weeks in the spring and the summer of 1962. And so it was one of these shows that made for a good summer filler that I think entertained people. The biggest problem was they had it on Tuesday nights at 9:30, and the competition again from the other networks was just too tough for Yours for a Song to make it as a primetime version. But Bert Parks, that was really, he went on, a lot of people don't know this, that Bert Parks did the original pilot for the Hollywood Squares. It was done for CBS in 1964. Why it didn't sell on CBS is anybody's guess, other than the fact that Fred Silverman, who just passed away not too long ago, he had just recently become the daytime programming chief of CBS. And he sat on that show for 18 months and decided not to use it. And so when the option expired, NBC picked it up but decided to redo it. New pilot. They found this guy who was on a Kellogg's commercial, and he had also been part of a comedy team called Noonan Marshall. And all of a sudden, Peter Marshall becomes the master of the Hollywood Squares, and for 14 years on NBC and another one in syndication, he was just one of the greatest of all time. Won several Emmys for it, and I must tell you, he's still, Peter's still in good health. He's in his early 90s now, but was just absolutely a terrific host on that show. But Bert Parks was the guy who did the pilot. Well, we're going to transition now to a local show. We don't show you too many local classics because there's not that many of them, to be honest with you. But we're going to take you back on this one. This is frightening to me because I'm about to look at myself here 21 years ago. This is 1999, and this is the third season of a show that I created and developed as a knockoff somewhat on Name That Tune. In fact, this show is somewhat Name That Tune meets the Hollywood Squares, in which, to make it more of a play-along, we did questions about composers, about where a song was on the Billboard charts, what decade it was popular. We added that element to the show to give it a question and answer flavor. And we tried to keep the music in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. One of the most fun shows I have ever done, but it also was some of the most work because we did 4 shows a night between 5:30 and 9:30, and with all the musical cues we had on this show and trading the contestants in and out and trying to get all of them done every 15 minutes between shows, it was a struggle sometimes, but we made it through. We did 100 episodes of this show, and this is number 40. Not that that means anything, but I hope some of you who were in Jackson at that point in time, maybe this will bring back a fond memory. And so, as I always said to the contestants, listen and tell me if you've heard that song.